thank the member for Spence. The question is that the motion be agreed to, and I call the member for Riverina.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. And I asked the Prime Minister a very serious question in question time today about Capital Brewing Co., a local success story. He took me up on the regionality of that, but given my boundary changes, as many of us in New South Wales are experiencing electorate boundary changes, and I'm no different, my electorate boundaries will now take in wrapping right around the Australian Capital Territory, and indeed Riverina, if you look at it from the start of Federation, will now have, after these new changes, will have bordered 4 different states or territories in its time, which I think would just about be the only electorate to do that. But a very serious question from the Managing Director and co-founder of Capital Brewing, Lawrence Kane, was that their costs have risen, energy costs have risen out of control. Their electricity bill has gone up $4,500 a month to $12,000 a month over the past 2 years. And the Prime Minister gave a very dismissive answer. Capital Brewing has made investments, as I understand, in Batlow cider, and that's a burgeoning industry, and that is good. Of course, Batlow currently being in Eden Monaro, but soon to be back in the Riverina as it was between 2010 and 2016. But the trouble that we've got with the energy mix is that Labor has an all eggs in the one basket approach. It's renewables only, and it defies engineering and economics. We have to avoid at all costs and abandon this ideological approach, and only a network grid with a balance. And that balance should include gas. We've got a state Victorian government which is trying to prevent and stop all gas in homes, and if we've got a federal Labor Party determined to proceed with its Made in Australia manufacturing plan, then we've got to have gas, affordable, reliable, available gas. We have to open up opportunities in the Beetaloo Basin. We have to have more exploration and investment in Western Australia, indeed in Queensland, and for that matter Victoria, because gas does provide many of the answers. And we should have a national, rational discussion about nuclear. We can't afford not to. And indeed, if we're going to get to net zero by 2050, as is our nation's desire, then we have to have nuclear in that balance. But let's have the discussion, carefully considered costings and locations and discussion about the viability of nuclear. Not just these, as the member for Moreton said in the last debate, these silly Homer Simpson references and that type of immaturity, but let's have a clear discussion with experts in the field, making sure everybody has their say. And we appreciate that coal-fired power plants are exiting the system, and we do need to have renewables in the mix. We know that, but the member for Jagga in this motion talks about how there's going to be a $325 reduction, but this is just a nonsense when you consider the costs in everything. I mean, $325 off your energy power bills. I mean, for goodness sake, we've got rent up, food up, power up, education up, health costs up. I mean, everything is just going up and up and up. And she talked about childcare. Fantastic, talking about the affordability of childcare, and I'm sure the member for Calare would agree with me. It's not just about affordability, it's about availability in regional areas. It is about availability, because many of our mums and dads who want to get into the workforce are just crying out for childcare centres, and it's actually getting harder and tougher on Labor's watch. And bulk billing, the member for Jag addressed that too. But bulk billing rates have slumped markedly, 88 to 77% under Labor. And when we talk about bulk billing, we had the Health Minister, Mark Butler, saying that, well, if you can't get a doctor in, well, just you can't get a doctor to Bulk Bill, we'll just phone another one. Well, that ain't easy in regional Australia, trust me.
Thank the member. The question is the motion be agreed